now to get ready to party. It's gonna be awesome. So this is gonna be like fast, and it's going to be helpful. I spoke to my friend Angel's group in Hawaii recently, and I want to tell you something real quick. There are people who are transactional, meaning what's in this for me. You know when they go networking and it's like, what's in this for me? That's why I'm giving you my card. That is not this. I see the relationships we're creating here over the next 5, 10, 20 years. I'm a slow creator. And I know it seems like I'm doing it, if you've watched, things are popping up all the time. They've actually been baking for a year or longer before I actually release them. Kind of like that whole root system of bamboo, where all of a sudden it shoots up out of nowhere. That's why it looks like a lot of things happen, why they happen so fast, because behind the scenes a lot's been happening before I ever tell anybody. So I'll share with you how that happens. So as opposed to a transactional relationship, I want the things that we create here to be transformational. I want you guys to be able to create relationships with each other, here and after, with whoever, with me, with my boys, Jase and Thiefaine, in a way that can actually literally move the needle from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I don't want it to happen in some philosophical way. I want you to have more money in your bank account, have better relations with your family, and ultimately, my big thing is to have more time. So most people say, I'm in a job, I need to leave so I can have more time. And then you hear people saying, yeah, but you got to hustle so hard, you actually have less time as an entrepreneur. That's because these entrepreneurs are doing it wrong. If you can start a business that actually doesn't give you another job, you can have more time. So you can own a business, or you can have your business own you. Does that make sense? So I want to talk about businesses. Some people might call them a lifestyle business, and some people will say you can't scale a lifestyle business. I beg to differ. I had a mentor that said, ask a better question, get a better answer. That's the big idea. If I can say, how can I have this without that negative thing happening? Your mind is really smart, and it's a puzzle solver. So you will eventually figure it out. But if you say, I can't do this because this bad thing will happen, guess what you do? Nothing. And that's the problem. And so we're going to talk through that. The reason time is so important to me, most of you know my story, so I'll run through it quickly, but my brother-in-law passed away in his sleep at age 21. And that when that happened, it just blew everything up. Like, I thought I would live to retire and do these great things. But that wasn't the way it was for him. My baby died at 3 months old. He was healthy. He caught a cough called pertussis. That's why he died. Someone coughed on him. That's life. And then I realized, they were both named Gavin, my brother-in-law and my son. And I created something I call Gavin's Law. Anybody read my book, The Power to Start Something Stupid? Which is live to start, start to live. Because if you live to start those ideas that are pressing on your mind, you really will start living. But most people, as soon as they get that stupid idea, which is an inspired idea, or something that you said you can't do because you're not good enough, people who start those stupid ideas really do start living. Because if you push down those thoughts, you actually regret your life. So while you're at work, you're thinking about home, and while you're at home, you're thinking about work. Has anyone ever done that before? That's life. That is life. But what if it didn't have to be that way? And that's the whole thing. There's only one way to make more money. And I'm not the money guy. I don't push the money button because I think it's cool. I think it's ridiculous. I push the money button and talk about money because it's the only way you can live in today's world unless you want to go off the grid and fish forever. So Jase, my friend, has a fly rod company. That's why he's saying that. He could make it happen. He could make it happen. The rest of us would die.
That was the $5 shout out.
And so some of the things that wasn't covered when we started is Jase and I have known each other for almost 15 years now. And Rachel, we would collect cans from Laie Park to recycle them in Kahuku to get enough money to pay for gas. This is a real thing.
Our kids were really good at it, though.
And and here we are. We've just tested a lot of things, and we failed a lot more times than we haven't. And sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. So what? And everyone's so worried about leaving their job because they're gonna lose their retirement account. Did anyone ever see what happened to their parents or grandparents in the last 10, 20 years? They worked their whole life to have a retirement account, and poof, it's gone. And the guy who said you could stay here till you're 65 cut them off at 63, so they couldn't get their retirement pay. What is this crap? So the idea is time. The only way to make money is to either do two things. Sell your time, which is being... I love this guy. This happy Polynesian man. He was at BYU Hawaii with me too. Okay, so the only way to make money is to sell your time, which is being an employee, or to sell a product or a service. In my companies, in our companies, I think it's true for all of us, we have 0 employees, and we generate millions of dollars in revenue. The basic answer is we have contractors. They also work for themselves. They are entrepreneurs. If I'm going to promote entrepreneurship, why would I enslave someone to the 9 to 5? Now, I'm not saying that's the way to do it. There are many ways to do it. This building right here is insane. 97th floor. They have amazing employees. They value that because that's what works here. So you can do whatever you want. There's no right or wrong. But I will tell you this. Chris and Wayne, who are graciously hosting us here, they use in this building what's called ROWE, R-O-W-E, results-only work environment. Doesn't matter what time you come in, doesn't matter what time you leave. It matters that you get your freaking work done. And in fact, they even had one employee from here who said, I wanted to live in India. She moved to India and did her work there. This is the world we live in. This was never possible. Barely even 10 years ago was this possible. Over the last year, my friend Jase Bennet and his wife have gained...
My social security is also...
They've gained over... 611. They've gained over 1 million subs on YouTube. They make money from YouTube. They just sold their house so they can live on the road off of YouTube. Okay? This guy, Thiefaine, him and his wife's Tahitian. They go to Tahiti whenever they want, whenever they want. His wife's going tomorrow. And
if he gets his crap done.
And the only thing is because it's an answer to a better question. And the question is, how can I not be tethered? I am extremely tethered to my cell phone. But that's as close as I can get to getting away from a computer. I hate sitting in a desk behind a computer. It makes you want to break things. And I like breaking things.
We had an office together. We broke things.
Now, I want to invite my friend who didn't know I was going to do this, but I see him because he has red glasses and he keeps bees to come. Okay, come here. Come. This is my friend, Adam. Adam is a client of mine. He came two years ago.
2 years ago.
And told me a story of how he wanted to do certain things and what happened. Tell them the story, my brother.
Okay, so first off, I just want to say that, so I'm from Kaysville, so I'm up north Salt Lake, and I was driving here tonight, and it was funny because I saw the 6 o'clock commuter traffic coming from Salt Lake, huge hordes of cars, and I used to be in that traffic, and I was driving south down here to Lehigh, and there was no traffic, like there was nothing, and I was just like, like, I just see my boy Richie, and it just hit me that it was just like, that's basically what I've done. And so I worked in corporate for 10 years doing social media marketing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing so much consulting on the side, so many people are interested in these services, so many brands need this. Why don't I just do this on my own? And so worked with Richie, and I was like, help me out here. How do I structure this? What do I do? And 6-7 months ago, my wife called me. She said, I want you to buy a 1967 vintage camper. I was like, oh man. And she's like I think she secretly invented Pinterest. Like, she's crazy creative and she creates stuff all the time. And the day I went to go pick up that camper, and that was the day that I left my job. That was the same day. And we spent 60 days, we renovated this beautiful, well, it wasn't beautiful, now it's beautiful, camper. And we got it done in time just for winter. So it's been sitting all winter. But now with the warm weather, that's the idea, is we want to grow closer as a family and spend more time together. And so been super thankful for the journey.
Are you making more money or less money than when you had a job?
4 times the amount than my corporate job. And I've and so and I told Richie too. I said my goal, honestly, is to really get to know my family more and do something meaningful and something that I enjoy. And it's funny because I've had lunch with my wife more times in the last 6 months than I think in the last 13 years since we've been married. And we talk more, we've grown closer. I drive my kids to school, I pick them up, I go to the spelling bees, like all those little things. Then I take client calls in between. And I'll tell you, I told Richie, I said, do you remember me saying this? I will take less money doing that than doing what I'm doing now. That's the point I was at. It was not about the money. And so I'm very grateful for the journey. I'm doing better than I deserve, and it's because of following certain processes. And you know, Richie was a great part of that, and I'm super thankful to that, and thankful for a supportive wife.
Tell me about bees.
I started beekeeping.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
So, yeah, I'm actually allergic to bees now. I've been a beekeeper for 5 years, and I've grown an allergy to them. But
That's not my fault.
but no, no, the bees have been fun. It's something that it's just kind of a talking point and word of mouth of what I do. And my clients know me for giving them some honey, and it's from my backyard. And it's a fun little word of mouth thing that I do along with my giant red glasses.
I love you, brother. Thanks,
All right.
homie. That was really good, dude. All right, round of applause. So the thing is, there's no magic bullet. There's no like thing where you're like, hey, I know we're an MLM town. This isn't an MLM. There's nothing like that happening. These are honestly just, I don't even know what to do with this thing. These are honestly just people that have ideas. The only thing that's missing, I don't know what's going on with this. No. The only thing that's missing is a business model. That's it. Whoever's on that side, there's a little button. It's green. You can press it, or it's red or green. There we go, and it'll turn back on. That's the only thing that's missing is a business model. None of my clients do the same thing. I don't think any of them do. It's just a business model. You see that little sheet that I gave you? I want to explain that to you really quick. So on the side with actual words, yeah, if you don't have one, let me know. My boy will give it to you. Oh, here. Yeah, thanks. On the side with actual words, I'll try and draw it here too, so you can understand what's happening. This is actually critical to understand. So this is high money, and this is high meaning. And so what happens is, as you look at it, in quadrant 3, a lot of people at a job, they say, I hate my job, and I'm making no money. Does that make sense? In quadrant 1, these are people that move to New York and trade stocks. They are making a lot of money, but they hate their life because it's worthless. It's meaningless to trade a stock. You go then to quadrant 4. This is where you're at a nonprofit, and it means so much to save the children and the whales, but you have no money. And what happens when you have no money and you're trying to save children and save the whales? Everyone dies. Okay? And so what happens is there's actually a term for it, and the term is mission drift. You drift away from your mission, and you actually spend more time trying to raise money than you do being a whale rider in New Zealand. Anybody watch that movie? Like the best movie ever. You gotta watch it. So good. Kia ora, bro. So then you look at quadrant 2. Quadrant 2. This is high money, high meaning. That's the Holy Grail, and that's what we're going to talk about. If you're going to start a business, you might as well start a business that makes money and save whales at the same time. This doesn't mean kill the whales for soap and beauty products. Okay. What? That's what they did. Okay, now, Moby Dick. You got to read it. I have it, but it sounds crazy. Okay, so high money, High meaning. And let me give you an example. Who's ever heard of Tesla? I asked a college class, what's another car electric thing other than Tesla? There was over 50 kids in this place. Not one could answer another brand. Not one. And Tesla was late to the game. Why? Why do you think? Because they sold it for a freaking $100,000. And they made it cool. That is the only reason we know who they are. And so they went super high. And they said, we're going to sell this thing for a bunch of money so that when we get brand and everyone just wishes they could be rich and saving the world at the same time, ride those whales. As soon as they could do that, then they said, yo, we have a broad enough audience. Now we can scale down and do this cheap $35,000 car, which is nothing, right? Like, it's a ton of money for a car, but it seems super inexpensive now because the other ones were $100. So most people who start a new idea, they say, I'm scared, so I'm going to start selling nothing to no one for $0. Then a few weeks later, they say, I made no freaking money. It sucks being an entrepreneur. I'm out. And so I say, why would you try to, well, how about this? It's better to sell something for $1,000 to one person than something for $100 to 10. Let that sink in. And it takes just as much effort to sell one thing to one person for $1,000, but it takes 10 times more effort to make $1,000 selling to 10. And if you can make $1,000 in one person, you have time to ride the whales. Does that make sense? And so the first thing you should learn tonight is sell crap for super expensive. And you focus on people that can freaking buy your crap for super expensive. That's what you do. That's what you do. Then, after you figured that out, you can go wide and reach a broader base. So here's how most people do projects. You might have heard me on the internet saying something about project stacking. It's just a term I invented for what I'm about to show you. What most people do is they start a project, has no money, no meaning, It's supposed to make money, it's supposed to make meaning, but it doesn't. Then they move over here and they do another one. And they're moving their way up. And this is actually the path they already planned. They literally planned, I'm going to suck, sort of suck a little less, then I'm going to be awesome. That's a stupid plan. And Elon Musk said, I'm going to be freaking awesome. I'm going to be freaking awesome forever. That's what he did. So the better way with project stacking is actually to move every single project over here. Lots of meaning makes as much money as it can. Lots of meaning makes as much money as it can, makes as much meaning, but they're integrated, like an integrated product suite. So the way this works for me is I write a book, makes a little bit of money. If you do a traditionally published book, you make between 10, 12, and 15% on every book sale based on the retail value. So if a book sells for $20, I might get $2. This takes a long time to make any money. So in books, the money is actually in self-publishing, or if you get a big advance, or the business model behind the book. That's how you make money in books. Stephen Covey made money on books, but that's not where his money was made. Consulting. Right? So I write a book. This then leads, it doesn't have to go in this order. You can be wherever you are. This then leads to coaching and consulting. This is my business model. You do whatever you want. Here I can sell a 6-week course for $10,000. Here consulting I can do, $5,000 a month for 6 months with some company or more. I get to choose. Then up here I have courses, because what happened is after I wrote The Power of Starting Something Stupid, I became the stupid guy, like Google Stupid Richie. I'm everywhere. And so what happened is people would come to me with their stupid ideas, and I'm not the subject matter expert on their idea, so I had to become the expert at something. And I became the expert at business models, audience building, and selling. Make sense? But then there's only so much time in the day. So going from a call per hour to a call per week to a call per month taps out at some point. And I'm also doing what I didn't want to do, trading time for money. So I moved into courses. Think about courses. If I sell 1,000 courses which have zero incremental costs, you make it, every other one you sell costs you zero. If I sell a course for $1,000, which in my industry is low, if I sell one for $1,000 to 1,000 people, how much money do I make overnight, theoretically? $1 million. So it only becomes a numbers game. Oh, I only sold it to 500 people? Oh, that's so sad. $500,000. So then you move up to here, and this is where you sell other products or services of whatever sort, which we're going to get into over here with them on products. So let me give you an example on this. Don't think this is just the Richie Norton show and I do this. Like, I actually learn by coaching people. They tell me what works, what doesn't. And I'm able to learn from different industries by nature of being a consultant, what's working, what's not working, and then merge things together. It's super cool. So my friend reaches out to me, not my friend, a dude reaches out to me, I have no idea who he is, on the East Coast, getting his PhD, says he's not making any money, but he wants to. I'm like, here's all my free stuff, bro, like, good luck. Because 99% of my stuff is free, if you haven't noticed. It's all free. And then, except for the high-end stuff. So then, he keeps reaching, I think he had an alarm set every 6 months to reach out to me. Because for 2 years he did this. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? What do you want? I didn't really do that, I'm a nice guy. So he says, I have 1 million reads on Medium. You guys know what Medium is? It's just a social media blogging platform that Twitter made. That's changing the world. So I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, yeah, I do. 1 million reads, 1 million shares, #1 writer on Medium. And I say, okay, on your articles at the end, you need to put a link to something you're giving away for free. You better write down what I'm going to tell you, because this is the business model for any business. I'm going to say it in the context of being a writer, consultant, coach, this thing, but any product, any service you do, this is what works in 2018. This is not what they teach you at any university, nor can you Google this. This is what's working in real time. So this is the way it works. In an article, on social media, in anywhere, you want to be jolly old St. Nicholas or Mrs. You want to be Santa Claus. You want to be nice or polarizing, whatever your personal brand is. But you don't sell on social media. Nobody buys anything on social media. They buy something when they move from social media to an email or to a website. Get that very clear. No one buys anything on social media. It's not even possible in most cases unless you go on Messenger and pay. Does that make sense? Like, it's just not the way it works. So you be Santa Claus and you give stuff away for free in exchange for an email. And watch, I'm actually going to follow this for a second, okay? So you do an article or a social media post. My handwriting's in Chinese, just so you know. So you do an article, and in the article, you put a link to a freebie. This is a checklist. This is a guide. This is a book. This is a free consult. This is anything. Don't worry about being an article. It can be any piece of content. 80% of my leads, our leads, come from being guests on podcasts. 80%. And I'm actually saying it wrong. More leads than that come. 80% of our revenue come from people who have heard us on a podcast. They spend an hour in listening. So then you give us something for free. And now what do you have? I know it sounds old school for Snapchatters, but email is everything. I would choose 100,000 emails over 1 million, any likes anywhere, every day of the week. Because this is where money's made. Oh, you have 10,000 followers on Instagram? How many people liked your last post? Less than 100? Where are the 9,900 plus? Instagram didn't show it to them. Not your fault. Who's ever heard of someone having their Instagram taken down for no reason? And that was their whole business. Or more recently, people that have their YouTube channels demonetized for no reason. It's called a rented platform. It's not yours, but email is your home. And in email, you can make offers. So with going back to the story, I told my boy, now in email, do a survey. So you notice how you guys are all here based on a survey that I put out? That's because I always ask people what they want and give that to them. Way better than making junk up and hoping you like it. I'm just telling you what you guys want to hear. But I'm telling it to you like truthfully and what works and what doesn't work. There's no better way. So in the email, you do a survey. And you say, what do you want? And you get their email again. In fact, the survey could be the first piece of content as well if you want, or you give some kind of something away for free. The whole goal is to build as many emails as possible so you can find out what people want. Everyone's like, what do I do? Where do I start? You start with a survey. Now, in his survey, people said he offered free consults to people that fit his criteria. So he spent a week doing free 15-minute consults, and in 1 week, this guy went from poverty to selling $21,000 worth of business. What does that look like? 3 months of consulting, 1 call a week with each individual for $1,000 a month. 7 times 3,000 is $21,000. It's easy. That's what he did. Every single person in this room, whether you believe it or not, could do that probably this week. How could you not? They told you what they wanted and you said, I'm going to give it to you. And then you had to talk to enough of them to say, I have money. But that's why you hate yourself when you don't make any money. You spend all your time doing nothing. And this is a huge service to people because when they can't afford it, you just gave them a free consult that they should have paid $500 or more for. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is for products, anything like that. So he made 21 grand. Then he finds out from another survey, as his email list grows from 0 to over 200,000, that they want a morning course on how to be a morning routine as a leadership thought guy. He made $90,000 in 2 weeks on a $189 course. It's a numbers game. Then he goes to a New York publisher, tells them what he's done, how big his email list is, and they give him a $220,000 advance on a book. Now he's made $500,000. This last week he did a course. It's 52 weeks, sells it for $1,000. He sold over 750 of them. You add that all up, it's over $1 million. There's not a single person in this room that couldn't do that. It's hard. It takes time, but it's simple. So there you go. I'm going to pause. Questions so far? Thoughts, questions? Love notes? Love you too. Is this making sense though? Is this kind of mind-blowing? Yeah.
I probably addressed it, but I'm trying to figure out how do you figure out what to be a consultant for this type of thing?
So you don't have, this could be for anything, not just consulting. But assuming you want to be a consultant, what are you good at?
I'm good with business.
We'll just stay there. So you would ask business people, what do you want to learn? And I don't know you, so I'm going to, or like specifically about this thing. I'm going to pretend they like big data. They want to know how to analyze it. I don't know. Well, that's who you're going to talk to. People that fill out a survey that say that. Yeah. It's really simple. It's almost like going back in time. Yeah.
Well, that's something. If you want an example of a survey, go to Prouduct.com tonight. Take our survey.
So that's
super easy.
So
guess what? We make products. Guess what it's about? Making products.
And I'm supposed to be the one who will call you, and I probably won't. Because I'm really slow. Don't even text me, that won't happen either.
everything we do is done through a survey.
If you're social media people, if your following is on Instagram, they have surveys right on Instagram. You can get that immediately, very quick. So for social media influencers that we're working with right now, we're having them do surveys through their Instagrams. And I mean, you have a quick yes, no, right, left, up, down, whatever you want to put in those little blocks. People tap them. Sometimes they tap it just to get it to the next screen, but you can get a super quick, super easy snapshot of where you're supposed to be going if the people you want to service are following you on Instagram. If they're not, it's just a fun way to mess with people. But if it is, it's a really good way to figure out what product line you want to go, what service you want to do, what your next article is going to be about, any of that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How many of you here currently have a service or work at a service-based business? Okay, cool. And then how many of you have a product-based business? Okay, how many of you want to have a service-based business? Just if you want to. And how many of you want to have a product-based business? Okay, so here's the thing is like either way, service or product, you will lose your mind if you tell yourself you're going to do it all by yourself. You will lose your mind. And so when I say we don't have any employees, we don't do anything, it's because we outsource every piece we don't want to do or we're not good at. And internally between us three, I outsource things I don't want to do to them.
And then I do it.
And then Thiefaine does everything. Okay? And it works that way. Okay? But it goes all the way around. So I want to shift gears from that and let Jase tell you about what he's done with YouTube. And you got to remember, when we talk about whatever it is, you may not be in that category, but the principles of what is happening are all the same. Okay? So about YouTube, how it can be monetized. Forget you make money with ads. Okay, forget that part. Aside from ads, how are people we're working with in YouTube making money?
So, do any of you do YouTube or trying to get into YouTube? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Got a couple over there that I know really well. Okay. So, with YouTube, the best thing that you have with them that is the hardest thing for people to get to know is the analytics. How many of you that are trying to do YouTube have spent more than 15 minutes or actually gotten deeper than the first page of your analytics? Nadia has. Aaron, my wife is analytics guru. She's, okay. So, YouTube tells you exactly who's watching your stuff. They tell you exactly, I mean, you can, what we're doing right now is kind of a secret, but I'm feeling like this is where it's going. We're using certain products in the videos, and we're going to create those products, put those products online, and have all of our friends post videos with those products in them. Kid stuff, right? Squishy things, other stuff like that. But because of the audience, because of what we see the interests are coming in, these huge brands are contacting us every single day, every couple hours, another email from Lego Life, Mattel. Yeah, maybe we don't turn our camera on for that one. Just kidding. But all these huge toy companies, Mattel, Hasbro, all these guys are contacting us and asking us, okay, we'll pay you this much for 30 seconds, this much for 90 seconds. So we realize they have a much bigger budget than that. So we're like, okay, we're going to create the product. We're going to pump it up in the videos, and then they can go buy our product on Amazon. And not the 10K that whoever's going to do or the 5K that whoever's going to do. We're going to end up owning the entire thing so that we actually can control a lot more of what's going on, and we can actually gauge things a lot better. I don't know if that's where you were going, but that was today's meetings. So
let me draw one more thing from you, and then I'm going to have Thiefaine chat, and then maybe we'll do some more Q&A. But is this helpful so far? Yes. This is stuff that people don't share and are unwilling to share, or if they do, it's behind a paywall. So let's see if I can do this. This is your map if you are selling online. Just follow it. You're going to have a landing page, and you can have all these things made. There's so many services out there. You don't have to do anything but press a button. And you're going to give away something for free for an email. And I'm not going to teach you how to do this. I'm just going to tell you need to put a pixel here. And a pixel, you Google Facebook pixel and Google pixel. I got the Facebook guy here from Purple here. He knows about this way better than me. You place it here. This means, have you been on Amazon and all of a sudden you go to Facebook and that product you looked up is following you? This is how. It's free for everyone in the universe. Then you go to the thank you page, you set another pixel so you can see if someone moved from here to there. On the thank you page, you're going to put maybe a video of what you're doing or your product. You're going to put a link to maybe a Facebook group so you can start building an audience you can talk to every single hour of every single day. Do you notice that your fan pages are horrible now? And they do not show in your personal feed? It's on purpose. There's actually a separate Facebook for pages. Click on the little orange flag. It's another Facebook that you never knew existed. But in a Facebook group, people who are unconnected on Facebook are now connected, and it shows up in their personal feed. And no one cares if you post on topic 1 million times in the day. So now look what's happened. I've had their email. I have their pixel so I can follow them around if I do an ad. This works for ads if you do that. I have them in a Facebook group, and I'm moving them maybe to an article I wrote. They can't get away from me. I am everywhere. I am omnipresent to them. So when you do an ad and you're tracking 1, 2, 10, 20, 100 people, you're only sending it to people who have spent 2 minutes on your page or whatever. And that's how you convert instead of wasting all your money. But forget ads for a second, completely organic. I don't do ads. I just started recently because everyone tells me to. Mine's all been organic. So I go from email to a Facebook group to whatever it takes to eventually close them, which might be, I don't know, whatever it is on Amazon, your page, depends on what you're selling, right? If I'm selling courses, it's probably going to be a webinar or a free consult, and then we close them over the phone or through something that takes a long time because they cost a lot of money. If it's just some random product, well, gosh, if I had 1,000 people here in my Facebook group who've been on this, and I give them a discount, and I tell them, let's pretend there's 1,000 people there, and I tell them to share it on their Facebook group, on their Facebook page, and they only share it to a reach of 100 people, I just for free reached 100,000 people. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So do you start on the Facebook and then get their emails?
Yep. So however they fall onto this page, it could be from social media or something else.
Okay, so on social media, do you do sponsored ads? How do you reach like public?
You could do ads, but if you started with your friends, you just put a link. Don't put the link in the actual post. Facebook hates outbound links. So you just write it, take a screenshot of it, put the link in the first comment, which also doesn't work very well, but it's better than nothing, right? Or if you want to get really crazy, which we're not going to talk about tonight, you get a bot. Look up bots, ManyChat, any of these bot companies. They're dirt cheap. So when someone comments on your thing, you actually start having a conversation with them in real time in Messenger. Do you want this? Yes or no? Yes, no. So you never have to leave Facebook until you want them to leave Facebook. Bots. Okay? As a side note, not going there. You good? So however you get them here,
Yes. Sorry, I'm having two conversations.
one of the best things you could do, everyone knows this here, is just to do a contest. Give something away for free. Get a bunch of people to share it.
Like just among my 1,000 friends?
Absolutely. That's where you start.
Right.
You don't have to.
So I started there, and now I'm kind of like, how do I move to the world?
You tell your friends to tell their friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually want to. There's 3 ways. There's 3 ways. One is organic. This is just you doing it. The second is called endorsed. This is when friends, family, celebrities, anyone you can get will share it. The third is paid. Those are the 3 ways.
Are you mentioning on Facebook or are you Instagram or where the 1,000 friends?
Like,
So here's a little Facebook hack. It's
okay.
a lot of people probably already know it.
Louder.
Okay, I'll put something out there on Facebook that'll get a conversation going, right? I'll put a funny quote up that my kid said or a question, something, and I'll make sure I'm commenting back. It gets a ton of interaction. Facebook shows it to a whole bunch of friends. The next post I do is promotional for something that I need them to see. Because they were just interacting with my page, Facebook shows it to
On
them
that
again.
post, so-
No. Brand new post, it'll show it to them. You have much more reach after you've had a lot of interactions on your page.
Yeah.
The algorithm, right?
Yes.
Comments.
We kind of do them, call it warming the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Facebook recently changed.
that's-
They're always changing. You're always
Yeah.
trying to work it.
But try it.
Has
You'll
you never
get
seen me
10
ask a
times the
weird
interaction.
question on Facebook, like what's your favorite number or what's your favorite color? Does anyone want to know why I did that? I want you to comment. Because if you comment, Facebook thinks you like me.
And then it'll show you his next promotional thing that he's going to give you for free.
Then your next post, they really go to those people?
Yeah, they see it.
Friends,
Yes.
And they also they'll show it to a few, and if nobody likes it, they won't show it to anybody else. But if you post it in really quick bunch, people like it, and then they'll show it to more. Because it's Facebook saying, oh, people like this thing.
So I did a Facebook post the other day. I said, should I drive my whole family from Utah to Ensenada, Mexico? I got like 300 comments.
Ask more questions.
Yeah,
Ask more questions.
they're saying no, and then there's other people saying, why wouldn't you? I love it. But it started this huge conversation, promotional post right after that. So those of you who are in that conversation, it was a real conversation, but it was also warming up for a new post that was going out.
So when I said it seems like live things popping up all the time out of nowhere, like who saw me do a launch called Podcast Guest Mastery? So what happened is I was on a lot of podcasts. I had a month where I made $300,000. I went back and I looked. I said, where did all this money come from? It came from being a guest on podcasts. So then I went into a group of Facebook advertisers and I said, I just made $300,000, no ads. And then I published it and I was like, oh crap, they're gonna think I'm being mean to them. I'll leave it anyways. And they started commenting, what? How did you do that? How did you do that? How did you do that? So then I was like, oh, and someone's like, you should write a book. I'm like, I'm not writing a book, I'm gonna do a course. So then I reached out to John Lee Dumas, who I was on his podcast. He heard about my book, which led to us creating the Freedom Journal for him, and then the Mastery Journal for him. The Freedom Journal, he spent a year gathering emails, curating his already massive audience, just for this launch on Kickstarter. Did $453,000 in 33 days, and now makes between 15 and 20 grand a month on autopilot on Amazon to people he doesn't know who they are. And he lives in Puerto Rico, so he doesn't have to pay taxes. This is a real thing, totally legal. Bought a house there. And everything I'm telling you is on his website. Just put eofire.com/income and we're reporting all of his money is completely transparent like it was a public company. And all he has to do is his marketing and his genius and writing, whatever, his podcasting. But we set up, we went to the factory, got the books done. This guy had the whole thing shipped, put into warehouses across America so they can be fulfilled. Most people, even in this room, would think if I'm going to sell a product, I now need a building, and I now need people, and I now need product, and I now need fulfillment, and now you hate your life, and it failed. I had a guy come to me and says, I just inherited $1 million from my dad or grandpa dying. I'm going to start an organic chocolate company. I'm going to spend $1 million on a building. And I said, shut up, give me $5,000 and I'll show you how to make it with $0 other than buying and having the stuff created at a private labeling chocolate company, which he did and saved him a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be an idiot. If you ever need to get overhead, grow into it. Grow into it. Overhead is a waste of money in the internet economy.
How do you find the right podcasts?
So the way I started, this is back in 2011, 12 when I first got into this, I just looked at Seth Godin, who's an idol of mine. He endorsed my book, gave me the blurb on the cover. Didn't know me at this time, but later he did this. I saw him put on his book launch all these podcasts he was on, and I just reached out to all of them. And that's how I started. So if you can find someone in your niche who's already on podcasts, just piggyback. However, you can search inside of iTunes for certain topics, and you can just find them. Search, and then reach out. There's more ways to do it, but like basically they're everywhere. Yeah, question. Sorry.
Maybe it's just me, but it seems like a problem like with Facebook and stuff is like, it seems like nobody shares things anymore. I mean, like if I post things and you're like, share, nobody, I can't even get my husband to share my post.
Slap him.
I want to, I do slap him, but he won't.
Actually shares are going down. I think that's a statistic that's actually happening.
Of shares, but yeah.
But like, this isn't to you, this is for all of us. If people don't share it, it's not shareable. Or they're not seeing it.
So how do you
Get them to comment. So here, you guys want to know my content strategy? Because I post a ton, right? I do it on purpose. I do it to the point where if I'm posting too much, I actually want you to leave. I literally only want to talk to people that love what I'm saying. So if I'm overposting, leave me. Like, don't even care. You're not my audience if you don't like it. You're just not my audience. So what I do is I'll do a post, and I do it stream of consciousness. If I have an idea, I write it down. Facebook is my journal. And then I put it in stories, Instagram if I need to, in the feed, wherever it goes. Then if I see a lot of comments or likes, then I realize, oh, that's a good idea. I better expand on that. And I write another post. And then I do an article if I really am into it. which could turn into a video, and then all of these can be repurposed. There's an article, you should look it up, by Gary Vee called Content on Content on Content, where a video turns into an article, turns into a meme, turns into a tweet, and do not feel bad about sharing the same things over and over and over again. If only 100 people like it, that means the rest of the people never even saw it. Who cares if they see it again? It's like going to a rock concert, and if your favorite group doesn't play your favorite song, you would be mad. Anyone who would be mad at you for sharing the same thing twice should go away and die. Get rid of them. They are not your friend. They don't care about you. They are selfish. And they will never buy anything from you. Let them die. I know it's harsh, but it is what it is. It's a hard world. Okay, so I want Thiefaine to talk. Come, T. Come. So when we get to physical products, I've mentioned a few. You don't understand. Thiefaine speaks perfect Chinese. I don't really know this because I don't speak Chinese, but I think so because the Chinese people in broken English tell me, "Oh, he speaks a perfect Chinese."
Sounds about right.
So that was close, right? Chinese people love me, bro. I love them. Chinaman's hat is right by my house. Okay, now. So we've been to China tons, more than the average person, and he more than most. He did a mission in France, Mandarin speaking. That's where he learned freaking Chinese. Learned how to do sourcing, did all the sourcing stuff for Jase boards. We're working together now. And when we go to China, we don't just go to China and show up and be like, yo, where do we go? Who's been to China with us here in this room? There's one, two. What? Oh, that guy's been to China. And then you came with us to China, yeah? When we went to the book factory, what happened?
Jimmy.
When we first got there and saw Jimmy.
Yeah, he hugs all around.
They hug us. Chinese love to hug. They don't, unless they know you. Here's the thing. They pick us up in fancy cars. They take us to get food, and the food's amazing. And then they take us to their factory. And we go through every corner of the factory to make sure that it's good, and they show us. And this guy knows what to ask for and what to look for, including, can we see that brand stuff? And if they say yes, that factory is cut from us because that means they are disclosing confidential information. And if they would do it for them, they would show our stuff. Tricks of the trade, okay? He's a master negotiator because they don't negotiate in necessarily percentages a lot of times. They do like in fractions of pennies and dollars. That's how thin the margins are. So when we work with people, we actually get products for less than someone could get on their own, even if they hired someone in-house or went through Alibaba or any of those things, because of the relationships. And we work deals. If we get it faster for you, if we order more, we play the game. Because in China, what's it called? Guanxi?
Guanxi.
Relationships. Tell me a story. Tell me a story.
No, cool. Yeah, I have the fun job of going to China, leaving my family for weeks at a time, and walking around dirty factories all the time. And I think we do it really, really well. I think we're really, really good at what we do. And I'm extremely humble, in case you didn't know that yet. No, but I'm from France. As you were talking, it made me think of a meeting we had earlier today. One of the largest vendors that sells products from different factories in China to people that want to list product on Amazon, eBay. And they said our customers should be thrilled with a 2% profit margin. 2%! So we were working with a company not too long ago, and we cut their costs by over 50%, right? That's huge. That's enormous. So that's what we do. We get to the ground level of everything. Even with Jase boards, we were doing really, really well, and we found ways to save money on every single product as it shipped. So
And make a higher quality.
And make a higher quality time over time. Who knows Russell Brunson? Anyone heard of Russell Brunson? Kind of a big deal, right? So we make some of Russell Brunson's stuff. Like those MP3s that he sells out that he gives away for free for your information so he can sell you more expensive things, right? Yeah? So Russell Brunson's MP3s, they cost, can I say how much they cost? I can't say how much they cost. They cost some money, but the taxes on them every time he ships them was almost $10,000. Last order, guess what he paid on duties alone with our strategies?
Legally.
Legally.
What?
$87. $87.
See, that's the thing
$5
is,
grand.
some people don't realize is we had a company that wanted to do cups, not the terrible cup company, the other good cup company, and they didn't use us, which is fine. But as soon as they got to the border, they couldn't get it through customs. It cost them more to try and get it through customs than it did to actually make the freaking cups. It's a nightmare. So that's why we do what we do, so we can, live nightmares every
We
night.
had one person that contacted us. They wanted to make a few different products. So we made them. They were ordering 5,000 pieces total of a few different SKUs. And they didn't believe our pricing was real. They kind of challenged us to it. So we made the samples. They got the first production samples. They said, all right, we're tripling our quantities on everything. Because we were saving them that much money.
So we can't tell necessarily who we're doing this for because that's confidential, but we're making, as you know, lots of books, yoga pants,
The stuff we share it because those people have already shared it. That we're working
water
with.
bottles. Tell them about, so I got a guy who did a survey after hearing me on a podcast. Podcast guest fills out a survey. I get him on the phone and he wants us to make teepees. And he said, what? And he said, we already have over 100,000 people on Instagram. I can tell you the story because they share it publicly and he loves it. And they're called Teeny's Teepees. Have you already heard of them before? They're right here in Utah. He didn't know I was a Mormon dude. I didn't know he was a Mormon dude. I had no connection. I wasn't living. I never lived here before. It's too cold. So all these things are happening. And we get in there. What did we learn?
His lead time, making them domestically in the USA, they're all made here. It was taking him 6 months to make one teepee. 6 months.
In California.
His first order in California from a good old USA manufacturer, which we support 100%, by the way. We do.
America.
But his American manufacturer, make it great again, right? But they shipped them, his first batch of teepees, and they were 100% different. 100%. None of them could be sold and used. So he contacted us. We cut his cost, I think, 65%, and shipped 8 weeks later.
And because he had when you go to so you might have seen Jase boards in Costco's, and the thing is, these big box stores, they will assume your product's great. And if they agree, they like it, great. They only bring you in if you have a good supply chain. That is the only reason. Can you get this crap in here on time? So now, because we figured this out for them and run their supply chain, they're in Target. I mean, it's just awesome stuff. And it's, kind of a life-changing thing for everybody.
His margins are such that he could actually go into Target, because had it been the other way, Target would have never, ever spoken with him.
Yeah.
So one thing that's important to understand is a lot of people ask us, why would I choose you? I have Alibaba, I have Global Sources, I have a second cousin whose ex-wife lives in China and she knows how to do this.
Dude,
right?
That's me.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right, you have your butcher cut meat, you have your baker bake bread. You don't mix that. Why? Because they're really good at what they do. And we're good at what we do. However, not everyone's ready to go play with the big leagues. We have some manufacturers that just don't want to talk to you unless you're buying $100,000 to $500,000 per order. So what does that mean for you today? There is someone that's willing to take your order of $5,000 or $15,000. We just have to find that person and grow over time and help you do that. So we actually take a different approach. Instead of being like many companies here, where we just try to shove a product that fits your needs, we say, what do you want to make? In an ideal world, what is it? What does that cost? How many do you want to buy? And then we try to find the best person in the world to work with you to do that. And I think every single time we've done it, it's been successful.
So I want to do Q&A, but let me put this all together just so you can understand what's happening. When he touched on the money piece, if you don't have money, a lot of people, they go to Kickstarter, right? But if you really think about it, your email list is Kickstarter. You don't need Kickstarter. You don't.
Well, Kickstarter is nothing unless you have an email list.
So that's the myth. If you go to Kickstarter, the myth is that they're going to bring you an audience. In reality, you bring an audience to Kickstarter. And the way you should do, and actually Anthony's an expert on this. He actually has a whole thing on like 7-figure funding on how to do this. But from our experience, you want to get like 20% of the whole thing funded by friends and family or more before you actually tell anybody that it even exists. Because if someone reads an article from Forbes and jumps on your Kickstarter and you have 0 followers or buyers or whatever, funder people, backers, they bounce. This doesn't make sense. So this is where it all comes together. And this is the way I do it. And I have ideas right now that I'm working on that I won't release for years. And you probably do too. And you think, oh, I'm starting from square one. I have to take years. No, you've been thinking about things and working on something for a long time. You have. So here's where you start. Tonight, let's freaking flood the internet with a survey that you do on your own. And you go onto Google Docs, click on the purple one, it's kind of hidden, Forms. And you create a survey and you can copy the one that I did that you guys saw. Name, email, ask a few relevant questions. One of the questions should be a money question. Would you invest $1,000 into marketing if you thought this was a big idea? Something you don't have to, something specific, but something that gives you an idea that they're willing to spend money, because this is all about making money, right? So you can have freedom of time and choice in your life. Based on the survey, you have an email list of all the people that you now know who fit your exact high money, high meaning. And then you reach out to them with an email. Hey, Josie, you said this is cool. Want to jump on a call? Or hey, Bobby, you like this, here's my product. Whatever it is, so it's not scammy, something super authentic and real. I don't know if you've noticed, but we all try really hard not to be scammy, because no one likes a salesperson. And so salespeople are satanic. Just joking. So you just want to give people what they want, and no one can hate you. And be real with it, right? So then you build that business or service based on that with those few. I met with Seth Godin recently from 97th floor, right? Up at, what's that fancy place called? The Montage. And he said, seek the smallest audience possible. Why? Because if you go really big, you have to be so generic and general that you suck and no one likes you. And no one wants to buy something from someone that sucks. So you go really small and you make a book that costs $100 about the Beatles. And you sell that one book, you only make 1,000 copies and you make $100,000. And then you do it again and you start building on that. There's an article you have to read. It was written years ago called 1,000 True Fans. Every artist in this room who says, I'm a starving artist, only needs 1,000 people to buy something from you for $100, and you make $100,000. That's all you need. And so you work with one. If you can do one, you can do 10. If you can do 10, you can do 100. If you can do 100, you can do 1,000. And you just keep building it. And you build it for your audience. It makes no sense to go on a platform where nobody knows who you are. There are people who know you every single day. Then you give them something free, and you get their email, and you pixel them, and you put them in a group, and you build a freaking tribe. And then you ask them to share your stuff for you so you have free marketing forever. And then you do it again. That is how it works. But whatever idea you have, I would start now, because you don't have to release this thing until you're ready. But you can't make any money without selling something. And selling your time is a waste of time. So you want to sell a product or a service. And when you sell a product or a service, you want to do something that is high money, high meaning, which will then give you the flexibility to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And that's what we found true for us. And that's what we have for you today, my friends. We love you. Thank you. You want to do Q&A?
Yeah.
Yeah, Q&A. If you don't ask questions, I hate you, so go quickly. Yeah.
Have you seen this model work very well on LinkedIn if you're trying to reach the business audience?
Yes.
Or does it work well on Facebook only?
100%.
Same exact thing, same principles. You might market it differently. You might not say, look at me being cool on the beach, but you might say, yeah, today I wore my tie and I'm awesome. And then they click.
LinkedIn loves business stories.
They love to hear that, and they get a lot of interaction and comments. And I was watching one. It was,
LinkedIn's on fire right now. They want to beat Facebook, so it's actually growing
No,
crazy.
they're doing really well. I follow a gentleman out of China who's an expert on Tencent, who created, it's just past Facebook, right, as the biggest tech company in China. But he had over 300 people put their email address in the comments.
Wow.
And they did it.
That's my new email list.
Genius. Go grab that. Grab that. Spam them.
Matthew Brennan.
We love spam in Hawaii. Yes.
Do you use pre-scheduled posts like Buffer?
I never have.
Never?
All my stuff is real and me, but I'm not against it. Yes.
What do you use to deliver those emails? There's a lot of different services out there, and I know some of them don't get very high deliverable percentages.
That's a very smart question. I use Infusionsoft, but it's expensive and horrible, and I have to hire some idiot to do it for me. He's actually amazing. Hi, Brett. Sorry. And then, I would start with what's it called? That monkey one.
Oh, yeah. No, I work with the company. We use Infusionsoft, and I hate it, and I'm trying to find a solution that I don't hate.
Look into something called Autopilot. It does email segmentation.
There's another one called ConvertKit. There's a bunch.
Autopilot, and they do what's called email segmentation. You can actually organize it really well.
Have you heard of Entreport?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good too. That's great. And yeah, someone said Mad Mimi, best customer service on the planet. They'll do everything for you. Yes. No? Oh, Mad, and then Mimi is MIMI. They're amazing. Just tell them, I can't do this, we do it for me, and they do it. And they show you a screen share of how they made it happen.
When you call Infusionsoft and you get an email that says, I'm sorry, the problem is on your end, we can't do anything.
Yes, and you need hours to get set up. The thing with Infusionsoft, they're awesome. I've worked with them. I've talked to their executives. They're just robust. And you don't need all those bells and whistles when you're starting. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about your video production company that you started?
Who told you about that? It's underground. Okay, so fast forward a little bit. You guys ever see we brought in some foster kids? Okay, we had some foster kids. 7-year-old girl, 1-year-old twins. We started babysitting this family. The mom didn't come back. They were going to put them in CPS. We said we'd take them because no one wants 3 kids, and they were going to get split up and put into staying in the office that night. So we took them in, and we went from 3 kids to 4 kids to 3 kids to 6 kids. So 6 kids overnight, and it was awesome. And this is the reason I'm telling this story. And after 2 years, we were going to adopt them. We always wanted to. They're cute. They're wonderful. We love them. But then the mom came back in the picture. She took them, which was horrifying and wonderful for her at the same time. All those mixed emotions. We decided we needed to huddle up as a family and just be together. And on the way to the airport, my wife can't say her ABCs. She can't read the signs. She can't talk to me. She just forgets who I am. She forgets who our kids are. And we're not sure what it was. It could have been a stroke or something, stress. We don't really know exactly what it was. So we were in the hospital for 3 days until she felt better. And I'm like, okay, we're going home. We're just going to chill. And she said, there's no way I'm going home. That will destroy me. I am going to go forward. And she was just brave. And so she was actually going to go before us. We were going to drop her off, and then me and the boys, my other kids, were going to go meet her. So she gets on the airplane, goes to New York. I give her a card that says, if I forget my name, they call this number. And then I was like, she's going to forget to give him the card. And her friend met her there. Everything was fine. We ended up going on this road trip. We didn't know how long, but we went from New York, working from my phone. That's my thing. New York, zigzagged up the entire country, went to every church history site, all the way down to San Diego. We weren't done. So we went down to Mexico, up the coast, over to Canada, back down through Utah, Arizona, then back over to Hawaii. Took about 6 months, and we had the road school, hack school thing. It was awesome. Along that journey, we started meeting with some awesome families that are vloggers all over, and I realized that they would go to Disneyland, but then the next day one of the spouses would stay home or stay up all night to edit the video, and they hated their lives even though they were popular. And so, like every high school movie. And then, so I said, how could there be a way that if I want to get into daily vlogging, that I could not do the editing and not have it cost me an arm and a leg, and do it Casey Neistat style, just remember, ask a better question, get a better answer. I just asked all those questions. So I spent a year finding editors overseas who I could submit content to, and they would edit it overnight. And we figured out a whole process where I wouldn't lose any creative, control, and it'd be exactly what I wanted, just like a producer might do, right, with an editing team, and got it done. And now I have several clients that have millions of subs using this service. And the whole idea, it was not to make money. It makes money now, but the whole idea was, I spent a ton of money to freaking figure it out. How can I do this thing without losing my life? So that's what I do. So if anybody wants to do that, let me know, and I don't know, show you how it works. Yeah. Let me show you one more thing before I answer that question, before I forget. The way I market my companies is with writing, with audio, and with video. I call it the wave. And it all leads back down to a survey, and then you know the rest. Every single one of them.
So just put an E in there for email, wave.
Email! You just changed the world! That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, cool. Oh, you can't. All right. Wait, this guy, yeah.
Yeah, I have a question maybe for Jase.
Yep.
I've seen, like on Instagram, product placement do really well with the swipe up feature. In YouTube, what's the process with that, and is there a disconnect in product,
So it would depend how you put it into YouTube. A lot of brands that contact us for product placement, right? We put it within the first X amount of time in the video. We do that, and then we say, link below. It doesn't do that well. Sometimes what you can do, not a lot of brands are educated enough to do this, but I know some that have. They will, what you do is you have them run an ad of that product on your video that they are paying you to have that product in the video. Right? So we're in a nice Ford van going around the nation, and weird, there's a Ford ad on it. Right? That's the better way to do it, because that is actually clickable. So
I just want to tell you that
I've seen obviously that the swipe up feature has been super successful.
Yeah.
Do you have it on your Instagram?
I don't personally, but I work with.
I was gonna say, because Instagram now has shoppable links on your. If you go to, I have a fly fishing company. If my fly rod is in there, there's a little shopping basket. It is kind of annoying. We're testing it right now. And you can tap that, and it takes you right to our Shopify site. It is directly integrated. We knew that was coming for almost a year now. It's finally here. And it's actually doing, I think there's click-through. Jeremy's the one who watches it. So.
So here's the thing. Like right now, there's like a wave of really cool things happening. And some people might feel like they're slow or behind. Dude, we're barely scratching the surface.
It's all going to change in a week again, and all the stuff we know right now, you'll be the first one to hear about the next thing.
You are not too late, but a year from now, you will hate yourself if you don't do something tonight. You will. I'm sorry. Stop hating yourselves. Okay? Yeah.
Hey, my good friend Tyson, he quit his job at a tech company, went to Alabama and become an organic farmer. And I'm actually from DC, he's out there, I'm just visiting. He has a question for you.
What?
And are you guys okay if I Marco Polo this question?
For sure.
All right, here we go.
What year is this?
I know. All right, so he is wondering how your system can fit in with somebody who is doing an organic farm or farming. This is a question for all three of you.
I won't, dude. It sucks. Don't do it.
Look, man, if you can just find where the people hang out, this is something I learned from Chris Bennett, the owner of this company, you will be successful. If you go where they hang out, you'll be good. If you're like, I'm selling organic, but you're like, hang out at some like poison spray food, it's not going to work. Like you literally have to be where they are, either online or physically, and then the magic happens.
All right. Any other comments from?
Yeah, we helped a literally dirt company. I can't tell you who, but they literally sell dirt, and they needed bags to haul around their dirt, but it could be produce, anything. And so we did all those bags that they needed because it was the biggest demand and the only one that could command volumes.
And that's find where they're hanging out. I mean, before we do anything, I go google.com/trends and I see how it is versus other trends and how other I mean, there's ways with the internet now. Find where those people are. I mean, what is it? Fruits and veggies? Is it?
Yeah, like all kinds of organic
Just
fruit, vegetables, you name it.
Veggies. Gosh, where would you go to find those people?
No, they're everywhere.
Farmers markets.
Go on YouTube and find the
It's
people
this
that
whole
are promoting
process.
that, their YouTube videos, their Instagram posts. Contact them as influencers and try to work with them. If he can ship. If it's a local area, I mean, yeah. That's a fun question. It's got me.
Well, thanks for taking a stab at it.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it.
I know there's more questions. I just want to say something really quick. I don't know if we like. I have no idea if some of this was super like nothing and you didn't get anything out of it. I don't know if it was like way over your head. I don't know if it was in the sweet spot. But I will tell you this. I know this for a fact. What you learned tonight, what was shared, most people will pay between $2,000 to $10,000 to learn. Now you might learn it over longer periods of time, and they might give you more things in your hand. But this stuff is not shared for free. Like this is how it works. Bye guys, you're cool. I like you so much. Peace. Now give me all your money. No. It's recording. Yeah, we'll make it accessible to all of you in this room. We'll figure it out.
I'll be emailing everyone
Okay.
a survey.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. This guy and then you. Hold on. Yeah.
So yeah, at this point in your business, how important is it for you to interact with influencers on social media?
It's all I do, but I don't do it on social media. I meet them in person when we talk. And what I found is the most interesting is if I'm the same influencer person as them, there's nothing. Does this make sense? If we're both podcasters, what do we have to give each other except for being on each other's podcasts? But since I'm a guest and he's an interviewer, it works. And because they want to make a product and I make products, it works. So you actually want to have complementary value add to the people you talk to, as opposed to being the same person. We're the same. Let's work together. No, I'm different, but we can work together. And that's how I found it. Like even today, I've probably met with, just today, 3 or 4, and in this room, all of you guys, but like people that are going to do crazy things. And it's not like, what can I get from you? It's more like, what can I give you? But it's more like, yo, let's hang out and be friends. More than anything. And then stuff happens. Good question. Yeah.
Long way to get to this question, but first and foremost, 6 months ago I read your book.
Thanks, man.
And it changed my life. I left a 10-year career being an area manager for AT&T, corporate America.
Are you hearing this guy? Round of applause, yeah. That's good, man. That's cool, bro. That's good, man. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah. So that's the cool news. It turned out
That's why we did the applause early. No one said it was easy. Only said it was worth it. The man didn't really say that, guys. It's okay to say. Okay, here we go.
So I took a job working in the financial industry as a financial advisor, and that's just been real fun. So I listened to your book again, and recently, just last week, left that job and said, obviously, it's not meant to be.
This is okay. You guys understand this is okay.
In that time frame, right? A lot of praying, a lot of time fasting. Like, why in the world was I guided to do this? Right, the stupid idea. In that time frame, I wrote a book that I'm working on getting it edited, working through. Obviously, never written a book before. You just got the idea of like, hey, share your story. You've got a really cool story about coming back to the church, all that fun stuff. So cool. I've got that written. Cool thing is when you're talking about influencers, my mom just emailed me today and said, hey, I've just got all 40 of your chapters edited, it's done.
Dang.
So how do you then, for somebody that's never written a book, spent 10 years in corporate America, but has a really cool story of struggle coming back and overcoming adversity, and my mom's edited it, does that, but how do you, what advice do you have for somebody that took that stupid idea, put it to paper, she's edited it, just got it finished today, and now the next steps would be getting it into someone's hands that could say, hey, this is really cool, or that's a really stupid book.
Let me ask you a question. If we were meeting 2 years from today, and we were talking in the same room, what would make you feel like you're happy and successful in your life? Not just with the book, like in life.
Changing people's lives and helping them make better decisions than what I did.
And how much money do you need to make a month to make it worth your time? Minimum.
Minimum.
I know maximum's great, but like minimum.
Minimum to just pay my responsibilities, $2,500.
Okay. Does this now seem reasonable and possible? Extremely. So first of all, you're changing everyone's life in this room already by sharing your story. Making the book a success, there's a lot of technical things in that. And we have to decide if you're going to go with a traditional publisher, which would be cool. Maybe find an agent, and I can help you. I know email. Or self-publish. Either one of those things are possible, but regardless, I wouldn't think of the book as the thing that's going to make you money. I would think of it more as the fancy business card. Yeah. And then so the business model is what's super important. But since you don't have a business model yet and nothing to sell yet, this whole thing we taught here is you literally start tonight. And you say, here's a checklist for people who have left the church or wanted to come back. Here's a checklist for people who are considering corporate America. Here's how much of it was like the biggest hell in the world, but I kept walking. You know what I mean? I made it through. Here's how you can do it too. And you start gathering the tribe, because there are like a ton of people in your exact same situation. And you can lead that charge and be their tribe leader. But no one knows until you tell a story. No one knows until you hear them. But it only takes telling a few people in this room, like when it's ready. Why couldn't I email to everybody here and say, yo, remember that cool guy? He's sweet, you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. Boom. Everyone's reading it or sharing it, joining your group. You did it. You already did it. Round of applause for Homeboy. That was cool. And $2,500 a month, I would sell a $2,500 offer to one person, and then do it again. Once a month. Getting on residual will be cool too, but or two at $1,250. Okay, yeah.
I just want to say this about you, Richie, because I know, for a long time since we lived together. I mean, not together.
Richie, run!
No,
We'll edit it out.
Big board and stuff, right? But anyways.
Those were the days.
No, but what I love about you is you're just this famous guy with all these people who like you and you have all these numerous friends and stuff like that, and just the guy next to you, right? But you always whenever I don't know if I'm trying to explain what I'm trying to say.
You made him feel really good though.
Yeah.
No, but the thing what I was gonna say is that you make me feel really good, because when I would message you, I don't expect Richie to message me back. I mean, I can even get Jase to message me back. You know what I mean? And we were better friends, right? But I don't expect
My phone's over here. It's not in my pocket. I'm not looking at
I
it.
don't expect you to message me back, and but you will. You don't. You message me back. You message Bob back, and I'm just you make me feel important.
Thank you.
And I like that about you, and I think that that's great, because I think that's one of the reasons you're successful. Is people like you. You have a great personality. You're genuine, and you actually make me feel hey, I haven't seen Richie in 8 years, but he still cares about me, and he still knows who I am.
Yeah.
And he likes.
Thank you.
Maybe you just like me because he's in you like him or
He's
whatever.
good looking.
But I like
No,
that about
thank
you.
you.
And I think that's one of
I
the reasons why
appreciate
you're
that.
successful.
No, thank you. Life is really short, and why would you be a jerk? Unless someone's a jerk to you, then just beat the crap out of them. But besides that part, you don't know. There is a mean side of me. I give them every chance, though. I promise you. No, but when I was student body president at BYU Hawaii, there's a guy named John O. You remember him? Yes. He ran scheduling. He knew everyone by name, and he was the only one you could go to on campus that knew anything and would help anyone. I'm sorry, guys, but that's just the way it was. And I said, "What? What are you doing? How do you do this?" And this is what he said to me. He said, this is the exact words. So at the time, the president of the school was President Shumway. He also would do nice things. And but John O said, "I treat everyone as if they were Shumway." And then I was like, oh. And then around that time, I learned about the value of taking ownership, meaning not just of your life, but of other people's problems. Not that you have to do other problems, but at least, I don't know, if I can, I will. And I also consider, you'll notice on social media, I like every single comment and or reply to every single comment. And these are almost thousands a day on every platform. And I do it on my cell phone. I wait for an alert, I pick it up, and I go through every alert and go boom, 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 boom. And it's because I treat every person, I don't know if I can do this forever, but I treat every person as if we were together. Because that's all I care about is people. So, thank you.
I love that.
I appreciate
that.
that.
And that's hard, you can't always buy that. You know? I mean, you can't always,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, dude.
Just to kind of add to that, I went to BYU Hawaii too, and we hung out before. At a Founders Beach and
yeah, baby.
These stories are getting
don't,
good.
Don't tell Fa'a.
Anyway, so I have a bunch of Hawaiian friends here in Utah, and I was asking them the other day, I was like, why is it that people in Hawaii are so much nicer than like here? I mean, people in Utah are nice, but
Stupid
like,
Utahns.
why is it nice? And she brought up a good point that was like, in Hawaii, you're going to see everyone you meet again because it's not a big place. And in the mainland, you see lots of people every day that you're never going to see again. So why do you care how you act towards them?
And that's
because
good.
I'm never
It's
going to
small.
see them again. And so that principle kind
That's
of
cool.
kind of goes on with what she said.
Yeah.
But I have another question also.
Hawaii is a culture of giving.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you know you're going to run into someone again, so
Yeah.
it helps to be friendly and create those relationships. But so you're talking about building these tribes and kind of the ways to do them. And you've probably never run into this, but I'm sure you've had people you've worked with that have is, what if you already have a tribe? You've inherited it or bought it or you've already grown something and it's...
Do they know who you are?
Do what?
Do they know who you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you already have
Got it.
You have a company.
Okay.
And you have an email list, you have a product, and you're starting to get stagnant. Do you just go back to the same principles that you did when you started, or do you have other methods?
Sure, but let me give you an example. How often do you get up in the morning to watch the sunrise? But if there's a sweet sunset, what happens? Everyone comes together. Like tonight was beautiful. So I live at Sunset Beach, literally there at Sunset Beach. So I see this incredible sunset. And everyone gathers from all these different cultures for a sunset. And I think of a sunset. I like to say, my favorite quote is that I say is, quoting myself right now, every sunset is an opportunity to reset. But people gather for a sunset. So if you can say, here's a project we're going to do, or since you already have a tribe and you say, we've been doing this thing for a long time, let's celebrate this moment of what we've accomplished, then everyone can come together. And if you can get everyone to come together, you're more likely to motivate them on their own to get up in the morning and get up for the sunrise and make stuff happen. So you need an opening and a closing, which I do through projects. If you notice, I just listed like 5 or 6 different businesses I run. They're not all different businesses. They're all just different projects within one business. Projects, because a project has a beginning and an end, and it can fail and it can be okay, or you can pivot, right? You can make it work.
I would also go back to a survey. Ask them what they want again.
Yep.
And keep feeding them what they want.
And these surveys are 100% on all these platforms, social media platforms?
Well, in his particular situation, wherever that tribe is, however you communicate with them, right?
They just mean
It might
followers,
be
anybody
having
that
an employee
knows who
call
you
them.
are.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
Social media.
It could be
You
social
can do a
media.
Google survey and then post the link there. They don't really like links, but you can. That's where you can get the cheap, easy ones. SurveyMonkey too. I think they're still around.
I know I asked a question before, but this kind of goes along with that. I realized sitting here tonight that the big problem I have in all of my projects is that I'm selling too cheap.
Yeah, you are.
How do you go back and sell to the same people? Oh, guess what? Now it costs more. How do you re-establish yourself as a higher end?
How many people are we talking?
Well,
And are they paying every month, or is this something they paid for a long time ago?
some of them pay every month. They pay a subscription fee right now that's $140 a month for unlimited online counseling with a licensed therapist. That's one project.
Awesome.
So that's $140 a month. And there's a group, it rotates because they don't stay, because we cure them and send them on their way. So it's a rotating group. That
Do you like this business?
I don't do the counseling, so I like it. All I do is the analytics and the back end. I'm not the counselor. So I think it's great to get people who like counseling
So
to connect.
here's a few ideas. One, you could just say where the price is raising. So it's going to be going from 200, I'm making numbers up, 200 to 400. If you want to lock in 300 for the next 12 months, do this now. But then you're going to lose a bunch of people. Right. Or you just say, forget it, these people are going to stay, and you do a new offer. And you say, hey, we're doing this new thing that's $5,000, and it's a retreat in Sedona, and we're going to hang out, and everyone's going to get like their neck rubbed, and everyone's going to be like smoking marijuana, but we don't do that. And like, it's legal now, and you do all these things. And all of a sudden, these people then go from this big ticket item, and then you move them to this residual month to month, or, A new offer would be awesome. You can also offer this thing, not to the whole 100% of them, but 25, and see how they react, and then learn and do it to the next 25. Yeah. Don't smoke marijuana. Don't smoke dope. I never have. Promise. Yeah.
Richie, I just want to say, like, on that term of pricing, that was one thing that you really helped me understand. And I think so often as humans, we're like, oh, I'm not worth that much, or, you know, I need to start off small. And I see it in my friends a lot that are trying to start businesses. They're like, well, I got to offer like a, you know, really cheap so I can get customers. And so that's just not the case.
Stupid.
And I can tell you, like, that is the thing that's really helped me, is starting way high. Like, push people to their limit, and when they're like, okay, uncle, then you're like, okay, well, let's drop it a little bit and work together.
You can change the offer, and then it becomes less expensive.
So I think I just like reinforce that.
Thanks, brother.
So I worked at the Four Seasons Bora Bora. It was an amazing resort. And I learned all about how the Four Seasons does service. And they have a rule. You cannot say, no, I can't, impossible. Any way to say that is just against the rules. You can't say it. Why? Because if you want an orange bottle of Listerine, I'll get it for you. I mean, it's going to be $275 a bottle for the 6 ounces. But I'll get it for you. And so at the end of any product, idea, service, you just charge whatever is worth your time, effort, and if no one's willing to pay for it, then you're probably priced too high. But it's always easier to go down in pricing than to go up.
Did anyone get orange Listerine from you?
2 bottles. It was a good day. The best part is I got tipped $100 for getting it.
So there's different clientele, but here's the other thing you have to understand about pricing high. Like if someone said I was going to sell something for $1,000 for a month-long coaching, I would think that's low. Like me personally, I'd be like, that's way too low. But for someone else, that's super high. So it's all psychological game. But whatever your pricing is, here's the trick. You have to believe in yourself and in your product or your service so much that if they don't buy this thing, their kids are gonna have a terrible Christmas. You believe in it so much that if they don't buy this, their life will actually suck worse. And you don't have to tell them that, but you feel it. And you sell like this is gonna change your life. You don't get it, I actually feel bad for you, not for me.
It helps when they say it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Totally. You got to believe in it. Otherwise, what are you doing? Yeah.
So I think this one would be for you, Thiefaine. If you want to create a product and you want to source it, is it better to have a prototype first, or is it better to just come talk and figure out the prototype and then?
Totally depends. We have a term we like to use, not written anywhere, it's just ours. We call them idea types, where a lot of times you're creating a new product, so it's so abstract, we don't get it. Right? So unless you have a CAD drawing and an engineer that's really made it on paper or in software so we can see it, we don't know what you're talking about. So make something, and you might just be combining in order to help us understand what you're trying to do, and then we can go to and start from there.
I can draw with crayons, is that all right?
That works. The thing is, like if it's something you're creating that's going to require like engineering and drawing, you actually want to talk to the manufacturer or someone like us who's going to help you manufacture it as soon as possible, because every little like curve or new little knob actually costs money. And it might not just be, oh, it's just a little button that's going to be 10 cents. Oh no, my friend. That might require some mold that costs $10,000 to make. And then if they put it on, it gets heavier. Now it ships more. Like we think through the whole process from beginning to end. So the sooner the better, basically.
And product development is extremely expensive, especially if you find yourself changing midway, right? So you're developing a product, you make that $10,000 mold, and you're like, you know what? It needs to be 2 centimeters smaller. Well, how do you take off 2 centimeters of a steel mold? You can't. You start over, and that's another 10 grand, right? So the sooner you can start and partner with someone that understands the process and can do it properly, the more money you save in the long run.
So an answer comes sooner than later. It's annoying for us sometimes, but in the long run, it works way better.
Let me add one more thing before I forget. This whole building a tribe, building an email list thing, you can actually, if you have a new product that's going to cost money, there is no reason you couldn't do pre-sales internally where you say, hey, dude, you want this thing? Everyone's like, yeah. They're lying. You say, you want this thing? Give me $100 right now, and if it doesn't work, I'll give it to you back. But if it does, like, here's the product, or whatever you say, like, that's when you know you're in business.
Your personal pre-sale
and you reduce your risk.
Without Kickstarter.
Yeah.
absolutely. We have a lot of people actually that have done that, and they've funded it before they even came up with it, and it makes everything easier.
Yes.
It's not only a matter of reducing your risk, it's also increasing your cash flow.
Absolutely.
TFN's dad, everyone.
Yes. I like that.
Take the concept of an airline. You buy your ticket today, you're going to use it in 2 months.
That's a good point.
They got your money right now.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. No, I love that. Thank you. Cash flow is the holy grail, for sure.
Against the wall.
Okay. You're coming. Yeah.
Similar to what kind of Thiefaine does for products, I find there's like a huge need, maybe it's just me, for that specific skill set for services. Like for example, take development. Developers are extremely expensive here in the U.S. compared to on a global scale. And there's tons of shops in India or Thailand or wherever, but there's like this barrier that your concepts always don't come across in the first time, and you kind of end up spending just as much as you would have spent here. Is that like a service that you guys have figured out, or somebody to connect the dots?
Do you mean like a consultant that like streamlines your business? Is that what you're talking about? Or?
Yeah, I guess it just like understands those service needs and how to communicate in a way that you get what you want the first time.
Yeah.
Like as if they're working. I have 4 developers that work for me, and if I can communicate to them what I want in person, but it seems like every time I try to do it in India or the Philippines, I don't get what I want the first time.
It's lost in translation a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes with stuff like that, you just fire them and get another one. I'm not even joking. They just keep going until you get the right one.
That's part of the reason why we take so much time to actually go to China. Guess what? Plane tickets not super expensive, but hotels, meals. But you know, by going there, we actually make sure we're with the right person. So in one day, we might cover 100 square miles to see 4 facilities.
He'll go through 20 suppliers before he picks one for making socks, whatever it is.
Yeah, so we do what's called a strategic screen, right? So think of, just gonna borrow this for a second. This will be in our course soon, so write it down for now. Basically, you're screening people on different qualities, and here you have whoever you want, right? So here maybe you're saying, hey, I need someone that speaks English and that knows C++ or something, right? Or that has a sewing factory, right? Then I want them to be geographically located here, or do this. And then you're narrowing down your potential suppliers or vendors until you get to, okay, I've got 1 or 2. Who am I playing with? Who's my team? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think if you figure that out, you could create a whole business just doing that.
Yeah.
Helping other business people find the right developer's idea.
And we can talk afterwards if you have a bigger project.
I think we're going to do a couple more questions. Did you have one too? You're good? You had a question?
Yeah, I have like 4.
One.
There's some over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for
My
it.
turn?
It's all you.
Sweet. Okay. Super simple. Do you like Shopify?
Yes.
Okay, Shopify is good.
Just because of how they integrate with everything right now. Everything else might look cute. Like Squarespace can look cute, but it doesn't integrate with anything. Shopify will integrate immediately into your
And it's
Instagram,
just like-
into your Facebook Messenger, into all of those.
Okay,
If your shop takes off, you'll find that you outgrow a lot of these sites very quickly. And you end up
You'll
having
outgrow a
something.
Wix, you'll outgrow a Squarespace, you'll outgrow a lot of those other ones pretty quick.
But Shopify is pretty.
Yeah, you can do a lot with it. And it's a lot easier if you watch a couple videos to set up than a lot of other ones. There's still a lot of stuff you have to learn with it, but you can set that up by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then, those, okay, so we have 2 products, and one has a patent, we've been working on it for years. I need to talk to you. So if you go with the, there are just components that are expensive. And so we need to get to China and make it, because Sportsman's Warehouse is interested. We're thinking about just licensing it to Camp Chef. Anyway, but after you get to that process and you've spent all this money, do you help us, do you have connections into retailers?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have a good
Costco,
friend.
Target, Walmart.
I have a good friend who.
If you want to, some of those it's selling your entire soul, and I will tell you, here's the number, but I hate you if you call them. But I'll give you, no, but yes, we have those connections. We can do that.
introduce you to people. I mean, you can't make someone buy anything, but you can make the right.
But we can
introductions.
structure it and structure the pricing in such a way that it'll be like we did for the teepees, so that he could actually go and talk to them, and they would listen.
Okay, so that project of mine is that's where it is, and then this other one is something that's smaller, but it's cell phone related, and everybody has a cell phone, and I've shouted it out to all my friends and family, and they're so tired of me. So I just need to go from there to there. So all this that we talked about, you were talking super fast.
Yes.
Is there? Do you have this written down somewhere?
I do not.
Because you talk so fast.
You're welcome.
So how do I don't want to give any proprietary information away, but like where do I?
This will be recorded. He'll send it out. But
Like A, B, like
anything
like,
specific? Oh,
just,
yeah, I
just
got all that
social,
done.
Just social media, like jumping that fence.
Just reach out afterwards and we'll figure it out. You know, because it's specific. So yeah, you're cool. Thank you.
I was just gonna say really quick. Now, when you say social media, are you talking about trying to figure that landscape out, like in growing and selling through there and marketing?
Yes, or another avenue. I would actually just need to.
Right. So
I need to just pick your brains to see what I take, which direction I take.
So on the social media side, when I send out the email, I'll send out the link so you guys can join the Digital Creators Group, and there you can ask away.
It's a good group.
Okay.
And I answer every
Totally.
single question that's in there.
Makes it easy.
And we have fun.
Right on. Who's next? I want to get that guy in the red way back there. Yeah.
I feel like it's a really unpicked question to ask here, but we can do it anyway.
Yeah, man.
So, you cooperate with a ton of people, contract, you have employees. I have a specific set of skills, but I really suck at a lot of stuff. What does it take to have like a successful partnership with someone, like a 50-50 partnership? Or do you always like contract? Like
Partnerships are horrible, and these are my two partners. No, but I will tell you this. Of all the partnerships I've been in or like known of, there's always going to be a problem like any marriage. And money is all that matters in a business at the end of the day. But I always say, and when we first started a business together, I knew I was going to hate him and he was going to hate me at some point, and it has happened several times. But I've always said, if I ever have something that I think is weird, whatever, I'm going to tell you. If there's ever anything weird, you're going to tell me. Because the worst thing is to ruin our friendship. What will ruin our friendship is if one day you blow up at me because you're mad about me for something that I had no idea was going on. So we are very frank and open, and we also have agreed beforehand we will not be offended. And that helps a ton. It's not perfect,
Yell a lot through text,
but it helps a ton. I'm so mean on text. It's awesome. All right.
Just wing it in the glass.
Tell us in the waiting room.
It's all good, bro.
So, for someone like me who's broke, but I've got an idea and I'm excited, and I need like a realistic expectation around the financing end of this. Like, what does this take, funding-wise? I know services are a different thing. I've had experience in service selling, but products are different. What's the realistic expectation I need around getting a product developed? What's it going to cost me? Through all stages of the process.
Why don't I tell you this? There's always a way to find money somehow, so start there. I don't believe in credit cards, but if you need to, you can. You can get a loan. There's money everywhere. Money is simply a creation of your mind. It is. But as far as like spending that money, usually the products we do, we require about $1,000 minimum, which isn't a lot, but to some people it's a lot. So, I mean, if you're going to sell it for 20 and you think it's going to cost you 5, you're going to need at least $5,000. Shipping's going to be another 1,000 or 2 more or less. And then there's warehousing and delivery. So all in, you might be in $10,000 more or less. But that's just a rough estimate. It really depends on volume. Because if you do buy 10,000, that product might not be $5 anymore. It might be $2. So it might be better to buy 10,000 and get more than you didn't even realize it. So we help you navigate that.
And there are people out there. So if you go on Alibaba, people say Alibaba, that's our biggest competitor. All those prices are fake. They're rarely actually manufactured. There's some I'll tell you the truth. There are some Chinese person that speaks English that left factory, stole customers, and they're just blast emailing prices. They probably don't know where the stuff's made. They just saw it was popular on the internet and threw it up there. 99% of the time, that's who you're talking to, right? But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. If you can afford $1,000 and you've checked and they can actually send you $1,000, they're a real person, they can really sell you the product, what's the problem, right? Once you're ready to grow and you really want to get that margin down, then you call us and we can help you with that. But to get started, to get cash flow going, to grow that audience, there's nothing wrong with that.
But whatever you're figuring, it's gonna, so you take what it's gonna cost, break it 50, then break it 50, or what you're gonna sell it for, 50, 50, try to make it for about that much, and then take that much, take that same amount of money as for marketing to actually get it in front of people. That's how much you should
And to make it real, if you want to, like, I mean, $10,000 is what, $100 times 100 people? Is that 10,000? Is that the right math there? I mean, like, anyone in this room could do that. Anyone in this room could do that.
That's good. Nadia.
Yeah, so question. In the influencer marketing world, I feel like there's so many different ways where you can diversify your revenue stream, right? Like you can get brand deals, you can do all sorts of stuff. So my question is, so let's say you've reached the point where it's covering your monthly needs, you're making enough, now where do you focus? Do you focus on making some sort of course like this, and you're funneling people through, or are you focusing more on getting a bigger following so you can get brand deals? I'm just trying to figure out, not saying that you don't do both, but where do you prioritize?
So this is where that survey comes in. So if you've got a good Instagram following, super easy. Hey, do you like this or this? Do you like this? And start testing, because they'll respond to it. They love those stinking surveys on Instagram right now, so catch it while it's hot, because people still love telling you their opinion on those little things. And so say, hey, if I taught this and this and this, would you be interested? 60% say yes. Oh, okay. Hey guys, I'm coming out with a new hat or a new dress or a new physical product. 80% say yes. Okay, and start testing them. Start pinging them for that information.
And you could actually go a little bit further. You get a new dress, $89. Good deal, yes or no? If everyone's saying good deal, okay. People are okay with an $89 price tag.
Your customers
is
are.
it $49? What's the price tag people are interested in? Then you can say what kind of products, and you can see.
You can also ask really weird questions, like, would you rather I make a like $100 course on how to write music or a $25 t-shirt? I don't know.
But test them and see where they take you, because yours will be different from another social media scene, you know?
And there's no reason you can't do both, digital product and physical product.
Okay, we're gonna do the last question. Bye, boy. You're cool. Thanks for being here. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, who hasn't asked a question? Wait, hold on. Yes, you're good. I like you. Who haven't asked one yet?
Hold
on one
He's been up
second.
a bunch. He's in the shadows, though. There we go. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So, I was in Amazon dropshipping, now the competition has gone up. But you guys, I assume, doing Amazon FBA. So, how do you determine, like, it's not dropshipping that one by one you're sending out? You have to buy stuff and put it in. How do you determine, like, which product to sell? And Shopify versus Amazon versus preference.
So, how do we determine which product to sell? Yeah. There are so many tools. Amazon has a ton of tools. We actually have a lot of clients. All they do is scour the Amazon search bar and the rankings, and they go through that and they see whatever's ranking highest and figure out if there's a way that they can go in there and steal some of that market. I mean, we had a guy. How many pairs of tweezers did he order from us? Just because he owns the ranking on tweezers on Amazon. And so it's like, hey, if you can get these for at least under $1, which was easy.
They were cooking tweezers.
Yeah, yeah, we don't know, right? That's different. We learned.
No,
we didn't know
for
that.
placing food on the plate.
Okay, we're gonna give away a prize. Hold on.
I honestly, if you take, I use Google Trends for everything. I'm kind of crazy like that. I'll go on. But in Amazon, I haven't done it in a long time. I was really good at it when I was really active with Jase boards, searching the trends and figuring out how to change it and tweak it so that mine would rank higher. right? Verified reviews, all that good stuff. But I bet you there's a free course if you go on Google and say, how do I figure out Amazon product rankings? I know guys that do it. I just don't know where anymore because Amazon's changed. But I'm sure there's a free course that they'll show you that.
I can find the link and I can give it to Anthony for you to post with.
Yeah, they'll find that link and we can post that so you can find it.
Okay, as we, you good? I love you. We used to hang out at BYU Hawaii together. Yeah, baby. All right. I have a couple prizes to give away. 97th floor actually gave them to me. There's some chocolate and some popcorn and some caramel. And we're going to give away 2 free consults with each of us. So 6 free consults. What we're going to do, this is not a sales thing. This is just feedback. Our biggest reward is to know what the heck you got out of this thing. This is the first time we've ever done this. This is the second live event I've ever done. I speak at a lot of big events. I don't organize them. So this has been really cool. You can't read my handwriting because I write in Chinese, but I will tell you what it says. bit.ly, bit.ly/create-now-97. That's because this is 97th floor. So bit.ly, create-now-97. There's like 2 or 3 questions. Just go in there, answer them. Then I will look on my phone in real time, and I will randomly select some people to win some stuff. Does that sound good? All right. bit.ly, bit.ly/create-now-97. Is it working for you guys? Okay. Oh, we have cards. Thiefaine has cards up here if you want cards. And I think all of you have our emails now, don't you? Our company, just so you know, it's called Prouduct. So if you go like products you're proud of. Prouduct.
You have terrible handwriting.
Thank you. So you can find. I had an English teacher who told me it was chicken scratch, and I said,
That was a compliment.
you know it. Prouduct.com. You can always just Google our names. And my personal email, richie@richienorton.com. Hey, this is my friend. What's your name?
Nadia.
Where did we meet?
We met at Summit.
Mid Summit, 6 months ago, more or less?
Yeah, something like that.
Or less. And what happened?
So I was talking to Richie, and I was like, I don't know how much to charge. I have no idea. And he says, charge this much, and then give it to them at half price. Tell them that they're getting 50% off for the brand deal that I was trying to land. And I was like, no, there's no way. It's way too much. And he goes, just do it. Just trust me. So the opportunity came for a brand deal, and I was messaging him on Facebook, and he actually responded and gave me advice, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I did it, and I landed the deal, and I was so excited. The first time I ever made that much money. I was so excited.
Yeah. Good job.
You're awesome.
That's how it's done.